Assalamu alaikum, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Ambassador's Lounge. Today we are going to discuss again about the Ukrainian situation. Almost 2 months ago, we had discussed this issue, and then there were many stalemates in the war. Russia, perhaps it intended to win the war within a few months, but now it's almost 11 months that Russia is still struggling to bring down Ukraine to its own area of influence. This is war is continuing, and it is quite a dangerous sign for the rest of the world. Ukraine is winning the war as far as narrative is concerned. So uh, it has, in fact, and then West is behind Ukraine. They say that Ukraine, in fact, President Zelensky yesterday said that we have almost joined the NATO. So if that is the case, today are going to discuss, throw some light about the emerging Ukrainian situation. And today I have my colleagues, Ambassador Imran Yawar and Ambassador uh, Amjad Sher Mohammed. So welcome,
Thank
gentlemen.
you, thank you.
And my first question would be to Ambassador Imran Yawar. Imran, do you think that this war will end?
Asif, ultimately this war has to end. But at the moment,
Anytime soon, I mean.
no, not I don't think anytime soon. But I think the war has, and they also say that the war is entering a new phase. President Zelensky was just in the US last month and he addressed the Congress and he got $1.85 billion aid assistance, including Patriot missiles. Now, when he was addressing the Congress, he said that, look here, people, Americans, you are not giving us charity. You are investing in the democratic future of the world. So, as far as you said about narrative, yes, his narrative is selling. He is convinced the world, the European world particularly, that what he has become an icon. He stands for forces that are fighting forces of tyranny.
He'll be credited for the renewal of Cold War in the
Asif
world.
renewed, no, I renewed a Cold War. He did not initiate this
No,
war.
he'll be credited. I don't say that he did not initiate it. Would he be credited?
I don't think. I don't think.
Would
I
he
don't
be a pawn into that?
No, no, no. I don't think that that he's going to be pawn or what. See, he is fighting for his country. His country is under attack, and with the support of the West, with the support of the US, they are making a difference. They have forced the Russians to withdraw from Kherson. So Russians are on the back foot.
But the Russians said that it was a tactical retreat.
Well, they can say that. They
So
can say that. They could be saying anything.
can't they recapture it?
Well, that let's see. But I mean, you see, second thing is the West has started giving them heavy armory like tanks. UK is giving them their Challenger 2, which is top of the line. Germans are giving them their Leopard, which is top of the line. So they are getting these things. So with these things, they would be able. They've already made the Russians withdraw. I think they are going to give a tough fight to the
So
Russians.
gradually the West is now being sucked into the war.
The West is definitely being sucked into the
So Amjad Sher, what do you think? How it is going to unfold as far as Russia is concerned? Because it initiated the war, and they thought that they will capture Ukraine or bring down Zelensky to their point of view. But it looks it has backfired.
Thank you, Asif Durrani. First, we have to look at the causes why Russia invaded Ukraine. You know, way back in 1995, when Boris Yeltsin was the president, there was an understanding with the Americans that there would be no expansion of NATO beyond the Eastern Europe. But now we can see that smaller states like Lithuania, Poland, and other states have become part of NATO. And Russia is not going to accept anything beyond the point that NATO should be its neighbor. Ukraine is the borderline between NATO and Russia. And Russia had already warned it much before the start of the war that no more further expansion of the NATO. On the other hand, the West and the United States of America had been prodding the Ukraine to be part of NATO, and NATO was about to apply for the membership. So that is the reason of the
The question arises that when Soviet Union broke down, so Russia is the inheritor, you can say, of Soviet Union's legacy, and it has kept its area of influence in the Central Asian states and wherever they can. Still, they are the guarantors of the Central Asian state security. And it was expected of Russia that it will turn the country, and the leadership will turn the country into a democratic order. While they have regular elections and they say it's a democracy, there are occasional, tensions between Duma and the presidency. But Europe is not satisfied with the way the democracy has unfolded in Russia. So, or you think that the West pushed Russia to this pass, that Russia had to, in fact, worry about its borders, and Ukraine turned out to be for Russia, the Cuban Missile Crisis moment for them.
That was the reason. As regards the Western concept of democracy, that is totally different from Russia. Elections are being held all over the world in different parts of the world in different countries, but their standard of democracy is different from the Western standard of democracy. Russia would never like Ukraine to be part of NATO because Article 5 of the NATO it states that an attack on any member of the NATO means that is an attack on the NATO. That's why tomorrow, in case there was any conflict between Ukraine and Russia, NATO would it comes, and that was a dangerous situation for Russia.
But Europe is, even if physically they are not present, their weapons are there in Ukraine.
That is different thing, but on the ground the Ukrainian forces are coming, and my point is that will the United States of America ever militarily participate in the war? And my point is that no. United States of America or West will never sacrifice its forces, its men, personnel for the sake of Ukraine. Ukraine has now become a sacrificial goat between the West, the United States, and Russia.
Imran, do you agree what Amjad has said?
First, Asif, generally it is said that the West had pushed Russia to a point where Russia was forced to attack Ukraine. Well, you see, there was no immediate reason. My point is there was no immediate reason for Mr. Putin to initiate that attack. Now, what happened, I believe, was that Mr. Putin thought that the reaction of the West would be cool or would be mild as it was in the case of Crimea, one thing. Second thing, he thought that he would be received well in Ukraine. Third, he thought that it would be just walkover. He was not anticipating such sort of reaction from the Ukrainian people. And what he has done is he has created a new and a very strong Ukrainian nationalism, which is now forcing. And as I said, Mr. Zelensky was Man of the Year for 2022 by the Times. And he has emerged as an iconic figure.
But that is Western media is unison.
Whatever it is.
No,
whatever it is.
Western media is not impartial.
Whatever it is.
Whatever Western media you watch.
It is also the people. Look at the way the refugees were welcomed in Europe.
But now there are worries.
There are worries.
About
yes, there
the
are
refugees.
Worries.
They are becoming
Exactly,
a liability.
Exactly, there are worries. But what I'm saying is that that Russia or Mr. Putin's action has united Russia, created a Russian new Ukrainian nationalism.
And he has also united NATO.
Yes, sir. And
And
he has plus America has, I think, emerged as the sole superpower. There was talk that it is winning, its power is winning. No, sir. America is still the sole superpower. Look what it has done. It has brought NATO together. It has forced Russia on the back foot. So it is doing all
so
sorts
it
of things.
means it is a victory of the military industrial complex
It is definitely.
with this war.
Definitely, and I'm sure military-industrial complex of U.S., of NATO, of Germany, they
So it
are.
means that there is a likelihood of more war theaters coming up in future.
There could be definitely. See, the West has its own concept of world order, of democratic world order. Now that does not. They must realize that their world order is not the international world order. So if their way of life is attacked, they say, well, way of life of civilized
But
world
the
is attacked.
question arises now: America and the NATO countries, they are, frantically they are trying to garner support from rest of the world, and the UN General Assembly resolutions are, quite, obvious about that. But the main thing which we are discussed earlier also, the major developing countries, they have not supported the Western contention, but they abstained. And they abstained, it has come as a rude shock for the Western countries, to which United States, in fact, expressed its dismay. Amjad, what is your opinion? Because the countries like Pakistan, which also abstained, including apart from India and China, even countries in the Gulf states, Saudi Arabia, UAE, or Israel, they also abstained. So you think that this will be another opportunity for the developing countries to come up and strengthen the non-aligned movement, which in fact over a period of time after the fall of Soviet Union has its influence has got eroded.
You know, invasion of any country under the international law is not uh, allowed, and it has sanctions. Although that those countries who have invaded other countries, definitely Pakistan would never like, because this is going to give a blank permission to like our enemy, like India. They can also take the same position that, well, there is terrorism or there is some activities anti-Indian. So that was on the other hand, all the developing countries, are facing some border issues with their neighbors. They have supported this thing because that they would not like the situation to arise like this. On the other hand, you can see the Ukrainian crisis has created two dangerous situations. One is the food and energy crisis, and the second is that the United States of America and countries like Germany, which has always been focusing on its economic development, is now heavily investing in its defense
They have
budgets.
almost doubled from
Doubled.
50 billion
So
euros to
now there
100
is
billion.
more
More than that,
focus
yeah.
on military build-up than creating an economic situation so that the world can
Magar,
flourish.
I mean, my question is that why should the world fall for the Western narrative? That they will create a crisis, they would lure Ukraine to join NATO or EU just to, in fact, pressurize Russia, and then expect the world to support their narrative. What's the merit?
Yeah, the merit is that this has been doing because they know it that in Europe, especially now, Russia is the biggest threat to their security.
What
But
kind of a threat?
be-
Russia's economy is not that strong.
but
Russia,
Russia is the largest country in Europe.
oh, well, that is geographically,
Yes.
but population-wise, it's not
And
that largest
yes,
country.
area-wise, it's the largest country in Europe, and it has been the dream of the West and especially United States of America to further disintegrate Russia.
What do you think,
You said,
Imran?
why should the world buy their narrative? Well, the world wants their help. The world wants their assistance. Whether it's armed assistance,
So it is
or
not on
economic-
merit.
It's not on merit. It's definitely
realpolitik.
It is realpolitik.
And they, in fact, this will also promote, as we said, we discussed earlier, to in fact develop their military-industrial complex further.
So let's not think that it's everything is on moral grounds. No, sir, it's not on moral grounds. Israel is not. Israel, for instance, has supported Russia. It has its reasons. Why Israel is supporting? Why Africa? Number of African countries are not supporting the U.S. in the UN. There are reasons for that.
So countries like Pakistan, what should they be doing?
Well, Asif, look, India has maintained a very neutral, balanced policy. It is purchasing oil from Russia. It has relations with US. It is fine. Why can't we manage a policy where we can?
But the Americans did not like what
They
the
did not
Indians
like,
have
but
done.
they have ultimately they haven't done anything about
But,
it. They know they need India.
Don't you think then there is, double-faced policy of the West that they are concerned about the human rights violations in
Let's
Ukraine?
not talk about double face.
Ukraine.
You yourself
But-
use the word realpolitik.
No,
Let's
but
not talk
the-
about
the-
morality
But the question
and
is,
politics.
the question is from Pakistan's point of view, why should we support their narrative that they are concerned about the rights of the Ukrainian but not rights of the
Well,
Kashmiri
you
people?
need U.S. help. Let's be very realistic. You need real U.S. help in financial institutions. You need U.S. help. So let's not go into morality.
No, but they in fact needed our help in Afghanistan.
Yes, they got it.
That is there.
Yes.
The question is,
You
we
are
support-
not U.S. You are Pakistan.
No, that's not the question. The question is, we are not US, but Taliban were Taliban,
Yes.
and they defeated the US.
Okay.
I mean, that's what the US says.
Okay.
So this is not the question. That if you have got, you are superpower militarily, so you can become a badmash,
In principle, it should
So,
not be like
so
this.
here, if that is the badmashi they are conducting in the world, the question is that why should we support them?
Well, in principle, you should not.
Right. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I think this is the time because we can drag on this subject, but the ominous signs are that we'll be into another spate of Cold War. The last Cold War, in fact, was bad for many reasons for Pakistan because the Soviet Union invaded Afghanistan, and we are bearing the brunt even today. Let's hope that this renewed Cold War is away from our borders and it can give some respite to us. Keep watching Lambert's Lounge. Thank you so much.